Good morning. Welcome to show 425. I looked it up this morning, couldn't believe it myself. Uh, we're going to go ahead and finish this video that we've been showing. This will be part 4. The video is brought to you by High Frequency Radio. Go please like, share, and subscribe and tell them Larry James 965 sent you. This video is used for educational and informative purposes and fair use. Thank you. Have a great day.
I purchased a finished good, which is different than a good or goods. The entity that is selling the goods is the one who is in commerce because they got, let's say, for instance, a loaf of bread.
That's not true.
They purchased a loaf of bread from the bakery for the intent of selling it to a consumer. When the consumer buys it, they pay a tax.
You looked at
go ahead.
You looked at it as a merchant because you got Federal Reserve notes in your pocket. Those are certificated securities you got in your pocket. That Federal Reserve note that you just said, look at it closely. That's a certificated security, and you dealing in securities.
No, I'm not dealing in security because that's the only thing under the state of emergency. That's the only thing, or the Emergency Banking Act. That's the only thing I can
deal with. And that is why you do an administrative process.
Correct.
And you come in with good faith and using equity because they haven't given you any money. Took all the money, and that's why equity now. There's fairness, impartiality, and even-handed bid dealing. You can go in there with a promissory note or some type of negotiable instrument, and you got the right to set off this debt under Rule 13, and that set off is coming from the private side as your capacity as a man with all the credit, and you are giving it to the public to offset their books. And I'm not even going to argue with you about it. Why do I need to bring in the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act?
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you about that either, because that's something security party, that's something, honestly, I do not understand. So
right.
It's easier for me because I understand the Foreign Sovereign Immunity that, hey, look, if you saying I owe you something, okay, as a corporation, then I'm going to raise my flag of immunity and make you prove that I was in commerce at the time of whatever. I'm going to make you prove it. I'm going to sit back and watch. Now it's up to you, which it has worked for me on several occasions, where they're going to either have to come up with the evidence or drop the case. And in my case, they dropped the case because they know they couldn't prove that at the time of the infraction, I wasn't engaged in commerce at all, based on the definition of commerce.
Right.
And that's what I hold them to. Now, like I said, the secured party credit, honestly, that's over my head right now. So I couldn't even go down that road with you.
But the statute that you're using is for commercial purposes.
Right. Mm-hmm. But in 1605 it tells you that. Let me get it says a foreign state shall not be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States or of the states in any case which an action, this is lowercase a number 2, in which the action is based upon commercial activity carried on in the United States. So
right.
if I were engaged in commerce, then I couldn't raise that immunity. Because I'm engaged in commerce. But if I'm not, then I can raise it and say, okay, you saying I was in commercial activity, now you prove it.
I'm telling you, they bring in charges against your straw man, not you, number one.
All right. Most definitely.
And the argument, you can do that. It's a traverse. I'm telling you, you say it works. I haven't heard. I've heard other people use it. I mean, this is not new to me. Mm-hmm. I've been knowing about Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act about 7 years. All right, none of this stuff is new to me. I've been around this a long time. I heard all the arguments. I read almost everything everybody done put out. It's like nothing I ain't touched. You know, I can't say I read everything. Nobody's read everything, but I'm already familiar with that.
Mhm.
Some
You
things
you
work, some things don't work. That's why nobody can come on this show and say, well, this is the definite way that you should do it.
right,
You know,
right,
it's like,
right.
yeah, it's like I can't even say that. That's why I said I can't even say that one wouldn't work for you, because what works for you might not work for me. It might work for somebody else.
You're in front of on what's going to work and not work. And the person you're in front of's feelings, judgments, different things. And I believe that's why we have so many different remedies, because we're in front of a different personality and we have to use different remedies for different personalities. That's just a thought.
Because
Right,
really
right,
what it comes down to is your conviction and your belief in what it is that you're doing. That's
right,
really carrying you through.
right. And one of the things that helped convince me that this Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act was powerful is because
Hmm.
I have a neighbor who was an attorney for the United States. I have
Hmm.
two cousins, and I have a good friend who both are attorneys. I
Right.
bring this issue up to them in email format. They will not answer me back on it.
Hell, they won't ask you back on
The
nothing.
the attorney for the United States, he actually, I don't want to say he lied, but he tried to lead me astray. But then when I brought him back to that 11th Amendment and how it tied into it, then he openly admitted it. But that's how I know how powerful that Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act is, and why attorneys don't want to deal with it.
That's why I don't trust attorneys.
Me
Like somebody
now.
called me, huh?
Me either now.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, somebody called in and asked me about this guy Polite and Malik, somebody who's with the
yeah,
he's
I
an
saw that.
attorney. And I'm like, man, this man got a bar. If they got a bar card, you can't stuff him. I'm sorry. Why do you think that they had the original 13th Amendment was not to let attorneys be in the government? Why do you think the Bible talks about attorneys? You know what I'm saying? It's like this thing doesn't change. I'm not saying that nobody ain't said down through history. I don't trust them because I've dealt with too many of them. And even when they seem like they have good intentions, and which I think some of them do, but because of the profession that they're in, it restrains them from doing it. There's certain things they can't deal with. They got to get out of the way, or they're going to get in trouble.
Well,
I'm telling you what it is.
They took the oath, so they laid their bed. Now they gotta stay in. What was that again?
Talk about that. They into keeping slaves.
Oh yeah. The overseers. And it's so sad when I see our people in general who are attorneys, and when somebody's charged with something, how they never bring up that foreign state issue to try to get them out of it. They always go by the state statute.
Let me tell you
it's
something,
so
man.
sad. It's so sad.
Man, let me tell you something, man. That's why I be dropping that stuff. That's why I don't be. I'm okay with attorneys if they're not practicing criminal law. But when they come and practice criminal law, I'm not having no mercy on them. Because them is the lowest of the low. To me, they like in the hustling game, niggas who rob houses and things. That's the level I put them on. They like the robbers and everything, rob houses and everything. Because they just robbing people, man.
Yep.
People are coming to them, it's like, man, we gotta get you off and everything. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. They can't do nothing for you on a criminal case.
Yep.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, you can't do nothing for. So they come in and say, well, this UCC stuff is too complex. People don't understand it. Things like that. Okay, so what's the alternative? Go get an attorney? That's the alternative, huh? We see what that do. Look at the jails.
Yeah.
We already see what that's going to get us. The jails are packed. Let me bring in some more callers, man.
Okay.
It's been nice. I got to bring in some more people. You got their hands up.
Gotcha.
I'll be running my mouth.
Hey,
But
peace.
appreciate
Let me
the
jump
call,
in
bro.
right. Let me
Go
jump
ahead.
in right. Peace, my brother.
Go ahead, Paul. What's happening, man? You back?
Right, beloved. Hey, you know how long you've been telling me to just pay him, and I've been mentally brain locked into the engagement of truth, which is I can't owe you nothing. And what's going on now is that my mind has finally accepted that you've been telling me the right daggum thing all along, basically just because it's the methodology for process. Any other thing you do affords them opportunity to rape, steal, and plunder your estate, your trust. And
When they
so,
got, yep.
so the essence of our dilemma is this: that right don't mean a daggum thing, because no matter how right you are, you're right in the wrong place, and you're right about the wrong thing in the wrong place.
It's called
So-
off point. It's called off point. That's a legal term.
It really becomes food for their private conversations. Is really what it is. I think they just find it amusing and they utilize it for their amusement in their private circles. And the only way to really shut them down is to do it through the reality of commerce. And then when they don't honor it, because they don't honor it, that's the problem that I'm
Bust
having.
their ass.
Huh?
That's when you supposed to bust their ass. When they don't honor it. You gotta
Right.
make them pay.
Right. That's when you give them something to talk about.
We get them something to talk about. That's when you put them liens on them. So you put a lien on them. If you do your process correctly, then you can put a lien on them. You can't put no lien on no public official that is not operated outside the ambit of delegated authority. So you have to document your process properly, which is I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, from beginning to end, and everything has to be timely. And then and then they have to give you your remedy, equity, and that's why I said equitable. They merge equity and law because there ain't no money. You can't get no remedy in law.
And that merger is where we're all bebuffled, because we're all looking for remedy through what we perceive to be a legal process that's not available to us because of their amalgamation of admiralty. They've amalgamated admiralty and maritime. They do what they need to do at the time that feels good to them to be victorious.
And that's called, you know what that's called? That's called public policy.
So I just wanted to let you know that however many years it's been, that I have finally accepted that what you're saying is, yeah, just pay them. All right, here you go. Take it, love you, bye. Go away. Yeah, just pay them.
You got all the commercial energy. It's a game that they playing. It's a vicious game. Don't get me wrong. It's a vicious game. And it's a deadly game. It's because the outcome of it is serious, but it's a game.
So tell me,
you
just dropped this Rule 13 and paid them. What were you talking about?
Rule 13 is counterclaim. And a counterclaim is a set-off or an offset. That guest I had on top, Philip Gillian, he was talking about doing offsets and set-offs and things like that. And even
a lot of this stuff is very new to me, and that's why I watch these videos, is so I can learn about different people's ideas, different thoughts, different procedures, different way of achieving our rights and freedoms in this unjust, lack of better words, we'll call it world. Because they don't want you to succeed. They want you to be their slave. And I believe that, and that's why I'm learning about all this stuff at 66 years of age.
sure. Everybody everybody's talking about the same thing. They're just coming from different ways. But what it is these cases have to be bonded, and they have to have something that's going to set off the debt. You have to give them something of value, all right, that is going to balance those books. It's something, I don't care where you get it from. People come up with all these different methodologies for doing offsets or set-offs or whatever. You see people get silver coins and get a bond back, all type of stuff you see out there, all these creative ways. But it all comes down to the same thing. You have a book, you have accounts receivables, and accounts payable. You have assets and liabilities. And when an accounts receivable gets created, it has to be offset with something. And that's what you offset it with. You have to offset the books. You give them and there's no money. So if there is no money, that's why we have the UCC. UCC is negotiable instruments law. That's why they adopted the law merchant after 1933, because there wasn't no more money. Had to go to, and so they had to make rules. So what it is that's the whole game. You got to figure out how to do the correct procedure. Like a guy I talked to that, he told me about this. I said, what's the difference between rich people and poor people? He said, rich people know how to fill out paperwork. And I'm like, damn. Because all this shit is just fill out paperwork. You just got, everywhere you go with the government, you got to fill out the form. If you want to get a loan, you got to fill out the form. And the people who get the money, I used to have a consulting job where people paid me because I knew how to fill out the damn form. That's what it takes. Learn how to fill out forms. Let's put in.
So you gonna do the show tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do the show. You're gonna do the show tomorrow.
No, you go ahead and do the show. I gotta run downtown and take care of something down in the further building.
Oh man, yeah.
I'll get in as soon as I can. You said you was gonna do. You had a show lined up.
I did not say. I didn't say I was gonna do no show tomorrow.
Yes, you
did. I got a guest coming on Friday. But all right, I got you.
I'm gonna jump in as soon as I can. I might not be back by 11 though.
Okay, I got you.
All right. And I've been listening to some of your archive shows, man. You've been doing a marvelous job. I'm very humbled and honored to be associated and to be a part of High Frequency Radio. You're doing an outstanding job. You're bringing in some very, 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 very informative and enlightened guests. I just had the opportunity to listen to Shirley Jones' show. Powerful, 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 powerful information. I think that we do need to be looking at the reality of what Yeshua said months and months ago, earlier this year, to stick the big demons on the little demons.
That's right.
Demons on the little demons, because they are all tax absconders. They have developed more means of thievery than our minds. See, we're not only devious people can even begin to contemplate the level of malfeasance and fraud that's really been taking place. And the thing is that everybody wants to be a victim, but it's not just something that's happened to us. It is something that has happened to everybody in this hemisphere, and they're trying to duplicate it. They perfected it here, and they're trying to take it on the road globally.
They already have. Let me ask you a question though. Is it fraud if you ignorant about your rights? Do I have a duty? Let me give you an example for you answer that question. In real estate, you have real estate agents and then you have real estate investors. Now, I was trained to be a real estate investor, and I learned a long time ago that you use real estate agents, because a real estate agent, all they want is a damn 7%, their little fee and everything. They'll bring you a damn property worth $2 million, got damn $1 million worth of equity in it, so they get 7%. Now, the real estate agent got a duty to give full knowledge about whatever it is they're doing. The real estate investor, I don't have to do that. If I come to somebody and I know their house is worth $100,000 and I can get them to sell it to me for $30,000, I'm good. I ain't breaking no laws or nothing. I didn't get over on you or anything like that. You should have did a comparative analysis of your property and everything and found out what your property was worth. So, using that microcosm, let's go to the macrocosm. Am I committing fraud against you if your ass is ignorant?
Now, this is the dilemma that has come from the materialistic standpoint of our species. Here is the problem. Anytime, I'm going to tell you where I'm at. Anytime you do to someone else what you didn't want done to you, yeah, that's daggone fraud. Now, you talking about business and just you taking advantage of the ignorant. That's all. That's. I can see where you can say that might.
I'm glad. I'm glad you said that, because this is all business. You got to take the emotion out of it. Just like Rabbi Finkelstein, we trying to make shekels.
Business. Listen, this is why it's not all business. You have come to the enlightenment of all matters being commercial. You have come to the enlightenment of the reality that is commercial. Just pay them. You've come to that enlightenment. But here's the reality. It's clothed differently. So it's still preying upon. This is not business if you're injuring. It's not business when you're injuring. It's feeding. It's hunting. It's harvesting. It's servitude. There's a distinct difference. There's a distinct difference of someone being taken advantage of because of their ignorance and someone being injured because of their ignorance. There's a distinct difference. Yeah, you lost money.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna ride with Rabbi Finkelstein. You know, we're making a lot of shekels, man. There's a lot of shekels to be made off ignorance. It is what it is.
Well, I think that here go the truth. Karma coming, karma going, karma already there. The things that they're doing that they perceive to be opportunities to enrich themselves, now I see that quite possibly karma's been laughing at them the whole time, because like Dr. Shirley Jones said, they're locking them up. They're locking them up because now Big Demon want to know, well, if you've been over here doing this all this time, where's my money? So
yeah,
well, go around, come around. Now let me say it on this end. The karma coming around with the pharmaceuticals, because now it's making them sicker than anything. It's giving them worse things. It's affecting them. When I say them, I mean those closely assimilated and looking like the people with the bright ideas to act intolerable and unconscionable, cutting down the rainforest, using aluminum byproducts in their solutions to formulate all the pills. I heard this one thing in Hidden Colors, the second Hidden Colors, and it said that the pineal gland, when they were autopsying the Vietnam vets coming back, and they were performing autopsies on all of them before they sent them over to Dover. And they realized the difference in the pineal glands of the European descendants and those of the melanated descendants. They realized there was a distinct difference in the texture and the calcium and the size of the pineal gland. And so I had never heard that until now. So now what they've been doing from a agricultural level is doing things to harm your body, but more than anything, they're trying to shut down your pineal gland because they realize that theirs is not as active and as organic as it needs to be. They're trying to level the playing field by adversely affecting the melanin people's pineal gland. But is backfiring because it's only magnifying the deficiencies in theirs. So what they're doing really is generating a whole class and populace of.
I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't doubt it. These people are so evil, and they just all want to be the puppeteers. And I just don't understand that mentality myself.
Beings that are spiritually disconnected. I am of the mindset that at this particular junction, especially given the constant commercial ballet that we find ourselves in, that we need to competently comprehend what you've been with me all along. Just pay them. Then deal with them after you've satisfied their reality, their reality being commerce and monetary. After you've satisfied that, then deal with anything else that comes along, but satisfy it first. Because we need to spend the majority of our time walking into the truth of our spirituality. The truth of our spirituality can matter for us what all of our academia is preventing us and disallowing us the time to involve ourselves in. So that's where I am with everything right now, is focus on spiritual, diet, spiritual, the children, the old, helping each other transform, because what they want you to do is they want you to be dead. And how they got us to be dead is because our minds are diverted from truth and our minds are directed towards the intangible, things that aren't real. This is all nonsense, man. When the electricity goes off and the grocery stores are open up, you're going to realize that what's important to you and what's not important to you. And we need to bring ourselves back to a better place of peace and harmony and existing and focusing our energies on things that are important. In all this commercial activity and all this ballet that they've got us engaged in is all distraction. It's diversion to keep our energies away from our true purpose for being in this soul of plane, the plane of souls. So that's what I want to thank you. I want to tell everybody I love you. Much respect. I thank you from the first time I heard you on the talk show. What was that show?
Starving the System.
Yeah. And I have to tell everybody that I ain't studied as much as you, Yusuf, but I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of, I cross a lot of stuff. I try to put my hands and my mind to as much stuff as I can. And I've never encountered anything or anybody that brought me anything that you hadn't already presented to me in one form, shape, or fashion. All right, so listen, I'm sitting here drafting up right now. I'm going to get in as soon as I can tomorrow, but I might be late. I might not make it.
Okay,
I don't know what's
cool.
going when I get down to that schedule.
I got you. We got a guest going to be on Friday. And also, let me make a quick announcement to the everybody out there. Sherry Peel Jackson, you know, she's in that airing what's his name? I've got his name. The director who made From Freedom to Fascism. She's an ex-IRS agent. I played her little clip yesterday. That's her at the beginning of yesterday's show. That's her clip. She's going to come on November 8th. So we're going to do a show with her. She's an ex-IRS agent, and she got some information that she wants to drop as well. So that should be a very, 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 very good show. You know, I was able to get her to agree to come on the show. And that's going to be on November 8th. Friday, we're going to have Gwen Wyckoff and Franco Zach. They do the Common Law Trust. That should be a very, very good show, too. So make sure that y'all tune in and catch those shows if you're interested in trust. And definitely on the 8th as well, catch that, because we're going to be dropping some real good inside knowledge. Some information.
Man, you do that thing. You were grabbing these guests. Hey, you know what, though? That is, what you said is true. The reason that we're under this commercial ballet is because we're visible. We need to privatize ourselves. We need to put our everything, lottie-dottie, into trust and layers of trust.
You gotta stop using that damn Social Security number. You gotta stop. That Social Security number is tied to everything. You gotta stop using it. You know, you gotta get you a business entity and get your EIN number that's foreign. That's the reason you get a 98 number and operate through trust. You have to. That's what they do. That's what they do. Private and it comes down to public and private. Ain't nobody can come over here and tell me it's anything different. It's public and private. I'm sorry. Come on here. I can just break it down and show you it's public and private. Public, private, public, private, public, private. Nationality.
All right, I'm gonna get out. Let's the show. I appreciate you, man. Love, respect.
Okay.
I can. Matter of fact, when you get done today, call me. I got something I gotta tell you. All right.
Okay.
Peace.
All right. Peace. All right. Let me go down to Cali real quick. 562-3818. You're on High Frequency Radio.
For me, I really understand the public and private, but at the same time, if you own a business, aren't you part of the corporation? I mean, I understand there's legal loopholes or whatever you want to call them, that's when you become a business. I don't know. It's an interesting thing I'm going to have to investigate a little bit more, definitely.
California. 562-3818.
Yes,
It's you, but yeah, I got you. What's going on?
All right. Yeah, you were talking about the Judiciary Act this morning, and what I was trying to get back to was the fact of the matter that the 20th chapter of the Judiciary Act is what requires the judges and clerks to have bonds.
Yes,
the 20th of that act is what requires them to have bonds. That was the first act of Congress that backed up the Treaty of Peace and Friendship to give validation to the the commercial guarantees of international law.
That's correct, because there's commerce. When you come into an Article I court, it's commercial, and everybody has to be bonded. That's another thing I tell you. It's all about debt. You got to put your money where your mouth is. That's what really a bond is saying. Put your money where your mouth is.
When I went into the New Jersey courts, they were like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" I said, "Let's go to the Judiciary Act of 1789, where you get your authority from." And I said, "Let's look at Chapter 20, where it says that you're required to have an oath and a bond." And they were like, they couldn't answer me. They got quiet. But they were trying to tell me that the oath did not have to have a bond. And I was like, that's not true.
That's not true. What they do is they keep the oath of office and the bond separate. You get the oath of office pretty easy. You can go down to the Secretary of State and get that, or they may have some custodian down at the courthouse that had that. But you got to hunt down that bond, and you usually got to do that through the risk management of whatever municipality that you're dealing with. You know, because the bond is just insurance. All bonds is just insurance. That's all it is. It's an insurance policy, and that's all it do. And like when you have a wreck with a judge, you go file a claim. Just like if you have your car and you got your car, you have a wreck, you call your insurance company, you have a claim, and then you have to come and do a claim examination. It's the same thing with a judge. If you have evidence that there's an injury that's occurred because of something this judge has done, you go file a claim against his insurance policy. That's what it is. And if that insurance policy ain't enough, that's why you can ask a judge this question. You can say, Your Honor, will your bond withstand the commercial liability that is being introduced into this courtroom today? and watch how they ball up, because they in here talking a lot of, you up there talking a lot of mess now. Can your bond cover all this? Because if your bond can't cover all this, then I guess I'm gonna have to go get some of your private assets. I'm gonna have to start looking into your house and your car, maybe your kids, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Say. Well, that's all I wanted to bring to the table today, because when you were going in, I said, well, now how deep is he going to go into this? Is he going to get to the point that he's going to connect it up to, and I know the Moors talk about it, because that's what turned me on to it.
Well, the Judiciary Act just established a court system for the legislature. And as soon as you see that word act, that's the giveaway. I mean, and that's what most people, I don't think a lot of these guys understand. They don't understand separation of powers, and they don't understand delegation of authority. They don't understand how you can have an Article III judge sitting in an Article I courtroom. And how you can have that is because there's a delegation of powers going on. The legislature, they put together this act, and you see it in the Article 1, Section 8, Clause 9, and you see it on Article 3, Section 1, where it talks about these different courts, a court of Congress and a court of the Supreme Court. And you'll see they always use Supreme Court with a capital C, and they'll have the small c whenever they're referencing these territorial courts of the legislature. They're called territorial courts because they're there to adjudicate matters of insular possessions of the United States, which Congress is acting as the government of the United States. That's all it is. It's all about insular possessions. It's within the United States, without the United States, public and private. If you're public, you're within the United States. If you're private, you're without the United States. If you're public, you're at law. If you're private, you're in law. I mean, I can just go keep going on all over. This is public and private, but they got a million different ways that they are saying it and how they write their words and all that, but it does all basically all comes down to public and private. You're either private or you're not.
I think also they thought that people would maintain a basic understanding, because it's also that same act that which says that a complaint shall not be dismissed for want of form. I'm not sure exactly where it says that in the act at the moment, but the end result of it is that is the act that guarantees that even if you don't have the wrong format, but you have an understanding of the complaint, that is the act that allows you to come in and argue your point.
Well, that's form versus substance, and it's the substance of the complaint has to address certain points too. Has to sit on certain points. You know what I'm saying? It has to be has to grant subject matter jurisdiction and all that too.
Right. I mean, you can't, we're talking about apples, you can't bring in another fruit to talk about the subject of the apple. That's what we're saying here. But the thing is that it has to be relevant to the suit and germane, mostly, to support the argument.
That's correct. They got a legal term called, I haven't used this word in a long time, but let me look up. I think it's called four corners. Four corners rule. Four corners rule is the meaning of a written contract or deed or represented solely by its textual content. Yeah, y'all add that to your vocabulary. Four corners rule is the meaning of a written contract, will, or deed is represented solely by its textual content. This term may also be applicable to other legal instruments. Absent ambiguity, the party's intentions must be discerned from the four corners of the document, and extrinsic evidence may not be considered. It's about contract. So four corners.
Four corners.
Yeah. Add that to your vocabulary.
Thank you, sir.
Let me make an announcement real quick. We got about 2 minutes left on the stream. If you are listening on the internet, you can call in at 424-222-5250. Once again, that is 424-222-5250 if you want to continue listening to the show. You can also Skype in. You'll see the Skype button up there. If you have Skype, which you should have downloaded by now if you listen to my show every day, you can get it on a smartphone too, and Skype in and listen to the show. without interruption. If not, you can catch us in the archives. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/high frequency and catch all of our past shows. Once again, I will be conducting an online workshop tomorrow, a donation of $25.
Yes, once again, please go like, subscribe, and share to High Frequency Radio. That is the man that is bringing you this video. I don't want to take credit for this in any way, shape, or form. I am learning about all this stuff, trying to grasp what this man is telling me, and go accordingly. Good morning, Christos. How are you doing this morning? Good to see you. So what did I do now? Damn, bro. No traffic over here. Yeah, well, it's life and fun in the big city. We got to deal with what we got to deal with and just keep plugging along. No doubt about it. I hope you're having a wonderful day, because it is a new day in the neighborhood. No doubt about it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I know, being a little silly. What can we say? You got any comments, any thoughts on your mind you want to interject with while the video's paused here? It's always good to see you. I appreciate you. No doubt about it. And now he's gone. That's all right. We'll go back to learning about state versus state, citizen versus citizen.
Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be going over some of these administrative processes. I'm going to show you how to write up some documents, y'all, and answer your questions. So be sure to email me at highfrequencyblogtalk@gmail.com if you want to attend that. Tomorrow, once again, we're having Gwen Wyckoff and Frank Ozak. We're going to be discussing common law trust and their benefits. Good show lined up for you tomorrow. So, with that being said, you listen to High Frequency Radio. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I got to get back to these calls now. Get these people on the phone. Let's see where we going to go next. All right. We are going to dip down to the 313 area code. We're going to check out Michigan real quick. What's going on? You on High Frequency Radio?
Hey, brother. How's it going today?
What's going on, bro? Chilling.
I'm good. Always a great show, of course. And the brother that does your show on Thursday, which is on.
Yeah, that's my co-host.
Yeah, he's a great brother, man. He's one of the first brothers that I got a chance to kind of open my eyes on YouTube years back, and I just want to extend some appreciation to him and to you for having him. Yeah. So what I wanted to just speak on briefly was just the slave issue, because I'm frequently trying to figure out how, trying to piece together in my mind how they were able to legally get that slave, back in the day, the slave thing going. And it occurred to me as you were talking that, it's really basically the same thing. You get people who don't know the language and you contract them, And so, it's really no difference to me at this point from slavery back in the day and slavery now. I know it's about commerce and all of that, but when wasn't it about all that? So, I mean, and also, I know it's about the money, but like the brother said, if you get somebody who doesn't understand the language and you contract them under a language, then to me, that does constitute fraud. But that's
Let me ask
all
you
I
a
want.
question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's say I take you to the top of a building and tell you to jump off, and you don't know about gravity, and you hit the ground. Whose fault is it?
Oh, it's my fault.
So ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yeah.
That's why they have that in law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
And that's understandable. That's understandable. Well, with your analogy, you said if I don't know about gravity.
Yeah, if I just go take you up to the
man,
top of a building and you don't know anything about gravity, that's the same, man. Just jump off the building, man. You're going to fly. And you just do it, and then you fall to your death.
And that
Am
makes
I at fault?
sense if I don't know about gravity. But, I mean, I'm living in this world. It's a very low chance that I don't know about gravity. Now, if you take it to something more complex.
Hold on. Now we have to,
about,
that's a great, hold on. Now we have to qualify that word complex. How do we determine what's complex? Complex for who? Complex for you or complex for me?
To me, determining what's complex is what is not readily apparent. When you're dealing with a bunch of
what is readily apparent?
That's what's readily apparent to me. If we're on the top of that building, is you will even see a baby that understands gravity. A baby won't even go to the side.
Okay, now hold on. Now what I did is I gave you grammar school, all right? Okay. And I told you what a proper noun was, and an adjective, and a pronoun, and a conjunction, and a verb, and a prepositional phrase, and I took you to school and taught you all of that stuff for 12 years. And then you come out in life, man, you talking about it's too complex. Whose fault is that?
Okay, no. I'm not saying that at this day and age that coming from what you were saying, and that made a lot of sense. I mean, it's right there for you to read. If you're educated, then you can read it. But back when they were bringing so-called slaves or slaves from wherever they were bringing them.
So you're saying
they hadn't been educated to that language?
Well, now we can get into. I mean, we can get into some esoteric conversation of how some of us, because all of us weren't in slavery, obviously.
Exactly. And I feel that. I understand that.
Yeah. So,
but I'm talking about those who were, even if we talk about the natives to this land, whether they,
Well, yeah. I'm gonna tell you what it was. Yeah, one group of people who considered another group of people savages and beasts. And there's a lot of philosophers that used to talk about this. Is there such thing as a natural slave? And what determines a person is a slave or not is a state of mind. You got some people out there who, for instance, like when Harriet Tubman was trying to save people, I mean, some people didn't want to leave the plantation. They got, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got different types of slaves, it's like me, for me to go work at a job, I'll get sick. I'll get sick. I get ill, you know what I'm saying? I start having convulsions and all type of shit. I gotta get out of here. But that will happen to another person, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, And so you had some people who wanted to get away. They chop off their foot, they run, let you chop off the other one. And then you had some, they just, even when the proclamation of, the Emancipation Proclamation came down and the 13th Amendment, they still, the 14th Amendment, they didn't go nowhere. Master, he's a sick.
Exactly.
So you got, it is a mentality. It is the mind. The mind is the most powerful force in the universe. If your mind is of a subservient nature, then a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
True.
You have to understand that you can be, anything that happens to you in life is your fault.
True.
If you're a slave, it's because you want to be a slave.
True.
That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah,
That's all I got to say on
with
that.
I feel you.
That's all I got to say. But anyway, thank you, brother. I got a whole bunch of people their hands are pissed on me. Let me go back to the line.
Appreciate you.
Mute your phone. Just mute your phone. I'll leave your line open.
Okay.
I ain't gonna hang up on you. We're gonna go next. You want to jump in? You can jump in. You say, hey, I want to talk about that real quick. You want to jump in? You can jump in. We're gonna go right now down to. Gonna go to Cali real quick. Let's take a trip down to 661 area code 0240. You're on High Frequency Radio. 661. Hit your mute button. Going once, going twice. All right. Let me go to 443 area code 0862. You're on High Frequency Radio.
Peace, this is Miguel Mario, baby. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Everything good. Just listening to you, you and Brother Paul Savage. I wanted to comment on that, and I wanted to ask you about a book I found in the Goodwill. But
you found a book in the Goodwill?
Oh boy, yeah, man. I think I got a steal, man. I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. It's called West Business Law, Alternate UCC Comprehensive Edition. Huh?
Yeah, that's I got one of those myself. I'm always you'll find those pretty easy around. But yeah, get that with business, and they'll have all it'll tell you in the front how natural law, private law, public law, constitutional law, break down all the laws for you and everything.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like, and the student had to have, they were seriously studying this book too. Like they were studying it, and it has examples of affidavits. I think it's a promissory note in here. Example. Yeah, it's beautiful. Highlighted things like they were taking a test or something. But it's a good book. I just want to know if you heard of it.
Yeah, you got the UCC in the back of it, right?
Yeah,
all the UCC.
They got UCC. Yeah. Got all the UCCs in there. It's a pretty good book. I grabbed yesterday in the unabridged dictionary, so I made out. And yesterday is my birthday, my solar return, so I guess I was some ass up. That's
a definite grab to get. It was definitely something very good to get. The reason I even found out about it is the guy who mentored me. That's what he told me to go get. A Westlaw business book. When you hear me talk about this public and private, that's where he got it out of, one of those Westlaw business books.
Good. Maybe I'll study it. Get up there where you at, big bro.
That's where he got it from. That's where he told me he got it. He said, I got all this out of a Westlaw business book. And as soon as I could, I got 3 of those. I got 3 different kinds right now. But I definitely had to go and get that and start studying it. It had the UCC in the back of it, all that stuff. It's good book. That's what they study in business school.
It's in pristine condition. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. It's like from 1990. It's a 4th edition.
I got it for a couple of dollars, didn't you?
Yeah, man, I got that, an unabridged dictionary, and a book called Who Moving My Cheese for $4.50, man. I sold. I
got a $300 set of Oxford unabridged dictionaries for $7. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, excellent condition, almost like brand new. Right. $7. That's why I be telling people, I say, go to Goodwill. I tell people, go in the nice neighborhood. The Goodwills would be in the rich people neighborhood, or something. But visit all of them, because you never know, because Goodwill got so many books that people turn into
Right.
Goodwill. There's so many jewels in there that you just don't know. And the average person ain't going in there looking for a dictionary or no law book. You go in there, you'll see all kind of stuff. I'm like, man, look at this right here. I done found some jewels in these books. I don't even go to regular bookstores looking for stuff. And then you want to get the old stuff anyway. You know, it's like you looking for these old things. It's like you come across, it's like almost like a treasure hunt. But it'd be in there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Some of the sisters in there was working. I was like, let me show you something in the dictionary. And she was like, I've been here and seen this. I've seen some of these stuff in here. I said, all right, look at this. And I got the unabridged dictionary. Then I opened it up to the word nice. And she's saying that the word nice means stupid, lazy. She's like, what? 4 or 5 people in there. They was tripping, man. They was like, oh my God. And she got her one. And she put one to the side for us. It was fun. It was fun. I wonder.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that goes to everybody out there listening. You know, you hit them Goodwills up. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. So I take my ass right in good. Every time I see a Goodwill, oh, Goodwill. Go in here and see if I can find me a book. I love it.
But with the issue of fraud, right? I mean, you have to differ a little bit. I'm kind of where Brother Paul Savage is with it. Your example you gave about real estate. Of course, I'm with you because I understand real estate. I study with real estate people or whatever.
Right.
But this is what I've been saying on the show. I've always say that it's only one industry and there's only one commodity, and that's ignorance. Every business transaction today, contrary to how it may have started, every type of transaction is when you benefiting from somebody's ignorance. Whether you catching a bus or taxi, you doing an insurance program or financial program, or you getting a lawyer, or you buying a Snickers bar out of a 7-Eleven, you're benefiting. You're trading maybe, you know, your Federal Reserve note for something you don't have the time for, or you don't have the intelligence or the resources to get or to produce yourself. That by definition, that's ignorance. Just because you don't have the time for it, that's the admittance that you don't have the skill set to manage your time. That's ignorance. If you're borrowing resources, that's an admittance that you don't have the intelligence to develop your own resources. That's ignorance. Everything in commerce nowadays is ignorant. The commerce, the industry, and the commodity. All of it is ignorant. That's all commerce is today. So
you know,
that example.
I was going to interject. Let me interject real quick, and I'll let you continue. I remember Oliver Lee said with the trading, he said, all trading is you're looking for suckers.
Yeah, that's it.
You're looking for suckers.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what happened. So I know that rubs people the wrong way. As people and I'm in finances, I know exactly that language he's talking. I know that like the back of my hand. It may rub you the wrong way, but like you said, you got to take your feelings out of it. You have to understand the English language we're using is masculine and it's electric. It's not touchy-feely. It is directive. It is about getting things going from one place to another. That's what that language is. That's why I greet people in Latin, because it has a feminine there, and you can you have the feelings there, and like that's why they call it the love language, because it's the language of the Moors, or because love or of love is amore. So you got to know what you're doing, and in business, the English language that we use is a business language. So it's not about your feelings. You have to keep your feelings to the side. It don't have nothing to do with your feelings. So the example that you gave was accurate. I'm with you. I'm with it. But I'm from the set. I know universal law. Again, everything is standing and static. If I know I'm sitting with somebody that does not know finances, that doesn't know it as well as I do, I know I'm going to have to deal with that part. So that's not proper consideration, because it's like you were saying about jurisdiction with the state. If I get the driver's license or I get any one of these licenses, it's an admittance of jurisdiction. Well, maybe I'm thinking, so, you know, in the contract, there has to be consideration. There always has to be a consideration. So if I'm going to do a performance, they have a duty to do X, and Y. I don't really feel like you're giving them jurisdiction. I just feel like, you know, looking at it and understanding and studying it, it looks to me that there's a level of consideration that has to be considered on their part, and they have a duty too. because you have a right to commerce. Wherever there's a right, there's a duty. So by you having a right to, start a cab company, whatever it is you want to do, they have an obligation to secure that, i.e. an insurance, i.e. a bond, all those things are correct, because I just got another got another insurance license, and insurance is bond. That's all it is. Actually, the whole commerce is bonds, because people are ignorant, and every commercial transaction is based off ignorance, and people are ignorant, so you're going to have losses, so it has to be backed by something. It's all the same conversation. Can't talk commerce without talking insurance, because all commerce is a transaction of ignorant people. So So what I'm saying is, it's fraud to a degree, but it's excusable. If we can come together on that, it's an excusable level of fraud. That's why they've been getting away with it. And I think that justifies why they've been getting away with fraud, because it is fraud, because it is non-disclosure. It is you don't have two competent parties, so it's an invalid contract. So we understand, again, these little nuances you got to understand is that the contract is the performance. The writ that you have, or the piece of paper that you have, is just a brief. It's a brief, because there's a lot of things in the contract that's going to happen that's not stipulated in the contract, just like the Constitution. You got more rights than you think you have, or than what the Bill of Rights says or the Constitution says. You have way more rights than that. You don't have no damn just 10. It's infinite. You have a ridiculous amount of rights. So you got to understand these little nuances as you learn things, so you know what's fraud and what's not fraud.
I agree. I agree.
I think y'all both. I mean, I'm with it. I feel like you know what they know what they're doing. They out to get them shekels.
They trying to get. We're making a lot of shekels. I mean, we're going to destroy the world, but we're going to make a lot of shekels. It tripped me out. Everything came back to shekels. But we're making a lot of shekels. Let me go to the line real quick. I'm going to bring in another caller. Let me bring in some more people. I'm going to leave your line open. Mic's open. 317-8669. You're on High Frequency Radio.
Islam, peace.
Islam, what's going on?
How you brothers doing today, man?
Good.
Very good.
I was just inquiring about a P.O. box. Like, I understand you're talking about public and private, and, a will. You got on the topic of a will at one point earlier in the call, and that brought me to thinking about the Foreign Grantors Trust.
And, so what's your question related to it?
Is like when you're doing affidavits and documents and stuff like that.
Morning, Wolf Lady. Good to see you. No doubt about it. We're just finishing this video, learning about the difference between capital citizen and lowercase citizen and state versus state. I wanted to finish this video for myself so I can learn about these things and try to utilize this information. Hope you're having a good morning. As always, I'm a little low key this morning, but we'll get through it, no doubt about it.
Trying to privatize yourself is getting a P.O. box like essential to,
Yes, it is, and it's also. Let me tell you something about the thing. It's very good questions that you're asking, and it is essential that you get that P.O. box does not lead back to you. That is a part of your privacy. I'm not going to discuss it on the air, but just know that P.O. box don't need to lead back to you, because you're compromising your privacy with that P.O. box as well. When you get a foreign grantor trust, that the trustee nor the beneficiary can be a U.S. citizen. Meaning you don't need to have anybody associated. no social security numbers need to show up nowhere, or it's no longer a foreign grantor trust. So that's all I have to. So these two things I just told you right now both have to do with privacy.
Right.
Have to do with privacy. So that's all I can say on that right there. You know, especially over
Okay,
there.
brother. Okay, brother. I appreciate your call, your information, man. I'm gonna get on off here and let you get to some other callers.
Okay, man. All right. Appreciate it. All right, let me go to one. Somebody got the phone muted out, but I'm bringing you in. One. Who's muted out?
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you. What's going on?
What's up? I wanted to, you had mentioned earlier in the show about the, I think the wagering process of an exchange of commerce, as of everything is prepaid. I'm just in that process right now, just studying, and you find out that, you know, even if you don't contract, you still contracted actually, right? When everything is prepaid, and they're doing their work, you know, because they're actually placing a lien on you, on the property of the sovereign, right?
Well, what they're doing, they are, everything is creditor and debtor, everything is all inter-exchange.
Good morning.
Morning, Wolf Lady. How are you this morning?
Little drained and tired from working so much yesterday, but I'm all right.
Dun, dun, dun. Hello. Are you there? Are you there? Hello, Wolf Lady. Hello. Hello. Where did you go?
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just get back to the video then.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Change between individuals is commerce, is contract. And that's what they're doing. In contract, they don't have, if you enter into a contract, there could be no money. But if you contract to do something, you have to honor the contract. So they know that there's not any money, but they still will enter into a contract with you because they know that you don't know. So
no,
they really,
I'm talking about like on the accounting part, like in the corporation part. See, like everybody actually, you know, when you get into that, like when you said earlier, you know, you say everything is prepaid to even the corporation. You see what I'm saying? They do these wagering bets on liens against, you know, the juror person. You see what I'm saying? I'm just getting in the process of studying, but it was interesting that you had mentioned that earlier about, you know, about this prepaid thing, because the process here, a lot of people don't even understand that, man. It goes even deeper, like into, you know, you already got a lien on you just by them getting money off you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
That's right.
If you really look at the wagering, because they make you pay double actually, but that's how they generate the money, because they can't get to the account. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. They need your signature. They need your signature.
Yeah, exactly. But so see, the corporation already done took the bid. You see what I mean? They already got paid. That's why see, I'm just actually, you know, just getting into this thing, because I gotta look at it, you know, on the trust side too. Because when you get into the trust, you know, you're looking at being your own fiduciary. And then, but when you look at the you know, that's just like when they say you create the loan, you know, where it's already paid for, that means that actually black spending dollars already been counted, but somebody else is actually counting it. You see what I'm saying? And using it. If it's already prepaid, even your your utility. You know when you look at it like that, but when you really look at the prepaid, everybody actually have a lien on them already, and they actually is already in commerce. That's how you are forced into commerce when they.
All right, we'll try this again. How you doing this morning, Wolf Lady?
I hit the chat button and
Your
accidentally
phone
lost it.
acting up or what?
No, I hit the chat button and I accidentally hit
You're
the
talking, I can't hear you. Oh wait, maybe because this is paused.
Actually, put your bond up, two ways to offer others. Even
Let me
can't
see
hear
here.
me? You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
Let's try that. How about?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How about it?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know
Sorry
what's
about
wrong
that.
with that.
I guess I had something wrong setting somewhere. Anyway, how you doing today?
I am moving kind of slow, but I hit the chat button and I accidentally hit the back button and it took me out. So
I think they got those buttons way too close together.
they do.
But anyway, this is like the fourth day I've queued up this video and I wanted to finish watching all of it. I could get all the information about it, learn from it.
Yesterday I went and started looking some things up on Google about the difference in the two, and it was some confusing information.
Well, that's the way they like to keep it.
Yeah,
Keep
they
you confused so you never know what's up or down. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it was pretty confusing.
Yeah. All right, babe. Well, we got about a half hour left of this video. I'm gonna
Okay.
queue it up and then probably end the stream afterwards.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Because on your birth certificate, that's all of it plays in the same place as when you said prepay. All that goes like into the same play on the accountant side. You see, of the process with all these corporations, just like
You know what? You should study this word called maritime lien. It's called a maritime lien, which is a secret lien. You're right. They already have liens on us, but you should study that. And that's going to lead you in a direction because you'll see what the maritime lien is for. It's for these necessaries and these services that they are providing for us. These are our public servants, and they're providing a service for us. So it's like they trustees, and they got a lien against the trust estate for the payment of their services. And this is kind of what's going on. The more you study trust law, and I'm so happy to see so many people actually, it's just a wonderful thing when so many people have an interest in law and trust. I mean, you got people, in our neighborhoods now, we throwing around words like trust and, all these liens and all these different things. Like it ain't nothing now. But that's definitely something you want to check out is a maritime lien. It's called a maritime lien. That's the type of lien that they got against us. Well, I don't know, like if somebody, people would argue an agricultural lien.
Just want to throw that out there. Since you mentioned it, I think it really kind of, I think it should just, it's just a whole new side of the discussion when you even said it. But, it's good to hear. Thanks a lot. Good show.
Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Okay. All right. What we got next in queue? Okay, I'm going to the 314 area code, Missouri, on High Frequency Radio.
How you doing?
All right, great.
First time caller, first time listener. Well, my first time listening was Monday, and I've been hooked ever since. I want to know how can I declare my sovereignty or privatize myself?
Well, I do classes on that, but here's the thing about it. You are already sovereign. You already have a nationality, all right? All you're going to do is put these people on notice and get your, make them aware that you are competent to handle your commercial affairs. Because as you can see, everything we're dealing on this show talks about commerce. And I know people talk about nationality and all that, and that is important. I'm not saying that's not important. It definitely is important to have a nationality, a Moorish nationality. That is important. And I don't want to minimize that. I don't want people to confuse on that because we not black people. That ain't no country called black. And all these other names and labels that they're trying to put on us. We definitely have to have a nationality. However, when you look at the system, how it operates, it is a business enterprise. It is commercial. And it is about claims. Everybody always asks you, what are you claiming? When you deal with the IRS and you fill out IRS forms, that's the first question they ask you, what are you claiming? When you go to court and you're having a battle in court, they ask you, what are you claiming? Everybody wants to know, what are you claiming? No one ever tells you what to claim. So you can claim whatever you want to claim. Now, can you substantiate that claim? That's another matter. But you can claim whatever you want to claim. So in going about doing that, my co-host actually handles the nationality part, or declaring your Moorish nationality with the United Nations and all these different things. I deal with private banking because it's not so much that you are declaring something in commerce. It is more so you demonstrating something in commerce. You are demonstrating that you are competent enough to handle your commercial affairs. You know what you are doing. You understand what it means to be a private banker. You are aware that all of the commercial energy is being derived from your person. So these, this is kind of what this is about. It's not, I don't get into no sovereignty things. People just be using sovereignties, and we are sovereigns. You're a lot of attorneys, they like to frown on that word sovereign and everything. You can go to any law library, get on the computer, type in sovereign, and you go all the way back to 1900 and say the American people are sovereign. And a million different places, okay? So we are sovereign. But sovereignty, so is the United States government. They are sovereign. The legislature is sovereign within their jurisdiction. So what we're doing is you have to let this corporate body understand that you are without their jurisdiction. You're outside of their authority, that you are not desirous to partake of any of their benefits and privileges that they have to offer, that you are a man capable of doing things for yourself. This is what this is all about. This is all about taking responsibility. This is not about just filling out paperwork. This is what I say. Really, to me, there's only two statuses: consumer and producer. Because you can do all this paperwork, but if you're still a consumer, you're still going to have to go to them.
Right.
You're still going to have to go to them. You know what I'm saying? If you're a consumer, so what you're saying is you want to be a producer. And this is also, and they will honor you for that. That's why they have humanitarian projects. They're waiting for some people to wake up and understand who they are and have some type of desire to produce something for humanity. They're waiting for that.
I see. Okay, so you had said that in their courtroom that they see me, for example, as public and not private, right?
There's a word in the law dictionary called public figure. Mm-hmm. Write that word down. It's called public figure. And when you look that word up, you'll see
that one part of it says anyone who voluntarily participates in a public controversy. When you go into court, when it tells you in the Bible in Matthew 5:25, agree with your adversary while you're on the way to court with him, at least he hand you over to the judge hand you over to the bailiff cast you into prison, and you're not going to come out till you pay the last penny. That's Matthew 25 and 26. That's your rules to the game right there. You have to reach some sort of agreement with this person before you get to court, and you're going to do that privately. But if you go into court arguing, talking about, that's not me on the paper, you don't have no jurisdiction over me, I'm going to make you prove your claim, that is called a traverse. Now, these are fictitious charges. They can't substantiate anything. They're colorable. They're colorable claims. All right? So they don't have any substance to them in the first place. So why would you give credence to something that doesn't have any substance? So you want to take care of these things. They're making these colorable claims in order to generate revenue. And what you want to do is you do not want to alert the public. You want to handle this privately before you get to court. Because once it comes into court, it becomes a public controversy.
I see. Interesting. Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm doing a class tomorrow night, a workshop at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's only $25 donation. It's inexpensive. You can email me at high frequency blog talk at gmail.com. That's high frequency blog talk at gmail.com. And I'm going to go over all of this, and you'll get to see, you get the hands-on. It's going to be invaluable training. For those who don't know, I'm going to put y'all in the game. I'm going to put you in the game, y'all.
Okay, high frequency blog talk radio.
At gmail.com. Yep.
Okay. Tune in.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, brother, for calling in. Appreciate it. Let me get peace to the gods. Let me get back to these phone lines. You see where we at. I am going
Don't
to go
forget to like, subscribe, and share to High Frequency Radio. That's who this video is brought to you by. Thank you.
I think I'm going to dip down to, we got Brother holding in New York again. We'll go back up to New York again. 718 area code, 0885, New York, big city of dreams. What's happening?
What's up, brother, man?
What's going on?
I was in your weekend class. This is Tom Malik.
Okay.
First question, did you get the Dr. Malachi books in the Dropbox?
I sure did. Sure did.
Did you copy it all? Because I'm going to take it down.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's cool.
All right. The second question is, I was trying to do the first video to see if I could get back into GoTo meeting, and I couldn't do it because I have a Mac.
You have a Mac? I'm gonna have to look at it and see what it does for Mac. But Mac usually, because you gotta just download GoToMeeting on your computer.
Yeah, I have it on my computer, but when I go to the that particular class that was Saturday, I can't get in because it's asking for the administrator or creator of the class to log in. So I think you have to provide me a link or something to get into GoToMeeting so I can watch the video again.
Okay. All right. I'll do that for you. It's not
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not too sure how it works, but I'm thinking that's what you might have to do.
Okay. All right. I'll do it when we get through with the show. I'll look into it. I'll make sure you get in. You get in.
And the other thing is, so for all my brothers and sisters that live in D.C., there's basically nothing they can do unless they leave the 10 square miles.
That's an interesting question that comes up, that the people in D.C., they literally are really U.S. citizens. But I
Right.
mean, really, when it comes down to it, it still doesn't matter because in commerce, we're dealing with commerce, and you're still a Moor. You still can declare your nationality. I don't think that that's going to make a big of a difference because it's business that's being conducted. And everybody across the nation has an exemption, and everybody across the nation has his birthright. You have birth certificates and things of that nature. So it doesn't interrupt commerce. So, you know, all you're doing, like the way I teach things, I don't teach things in the form of they are the enemy. You know,
Right.
I don't
Right.
teach them as the enemy. I teach them that, okay, you know, you're not trying to be an enemy of the state. I'm trying to work with the United States. So, you know, that's the mindset I want to put people in. So it's not like we're adverse to these people, anything like that. You're just learning how to work within the system. And I've been accused of that. They say, oh, you're teaching people how to work in the system. We need to get out of the system. I'm like, okay. You know, my feeling on that is this. I am with getting out of the system, all right? If our people can demonstrate that, number one, they can come together.
True.
They can work together, all right? Number two, they can be producers and produce something that we can come together on and go to.
Right.
But while we just sitting around talking and things like that, I'm going to deal with reality. The reality of the situation is these people have taken over the world. Let me not say the country.
Yeah.
They say they've already taken over the world. Don't say they're going to take over the world. They have already taken over the world. All right. I don't see 100% complete evil in the system. I think the system is neutral. I think it's the people who are operating the system that we have who are good and evil. I don't think the system is evil in itself. The system is you see what I'm saying? So
I think a lot of it is us too, because we haven't, like, I remember watching the show, you know, the swapping the housewives thing. You ever seen that or heard about that?
I haven't heard it, no.
There was a show, I don't know if it's still on, where they would swap wives. And one interesting episode that I happened to catch was this white woman moved into a black home. They didn't have a lot of money. And at the end of the show, the rich family gives $50,000 to the poor family, but they have the right to disseminate it. It's kind of like a will, and the beneficiary has no say in how they use the money. So this woman gave allotted, I think, $5,000 to give money to her congressman, and she said that this is going to help you more than you'll ever realize. And the black woman was pissed off. She's like, I could have used that $5,000 to pay my bills, But when I watched it, I realized, I said, she's teaching a very valuable lesson, which is if you supply your local politicians with some funds, they'll listen to what you got to say. Because the white woman was saying she noticed that the lights didn't come on at a certain time in the area, so it was really dark, and then there was potholes all over the place. And I was like, wow, she really just schooled everybody on the game. And this black family, they had no clue as to what she was demonstrating. So I thought that what you were saying is very true.
It was a video on YouTube. I think it's called Whitewashed America or something. I played the audio of it on my show.
Yeah.
And in there was a section in there where one of the young ladies, she said that blacks do not she said white people, they expect to be listened to.
Yeah.
She said she don't think that's in the black community. She said we expect police to come when we call.
Yeah,
we know we got rights. We know our politicians are going to listen to us. She said you don't have that in the black community. And she said you don't think they know how, you know, or what their rights are. I mean, it was really, it was a very, very, it wasn't anything offensive. They were just being very honest and forthcoming and just saying it like it was. It wasn't offensive at all. It was like, look, this is what it is.
Right. Okay. And the final question I have is, as a mindset, should we just be called, instead of saying we're private, as the mindset should be private banker? What's your opinion on that?
You can say that. If somebody asks you, you know, what is your occupation? You say I'm a private banker. I mean, That's a private banker. That is exactly what you are. But you want to keep your affairs private. You don't want to answer when you're private. You only answer questions if they are there. You only answer questions if it's going to help you.
I got you. And I remember we talked about, because I was doing the music thing, and that's part of my nature. So like to go private and not be a public figure or someone who helps people make music. Could you like kind of repeat that again, or what's your on that? What's your opinion on that again?
Well, I think you should use a pseudonym. And then I mean that's fine. That's not a problem. People maintain their privacy. Doing that all the time. They got CPN numbers, which are credit privacy numbers.
What did you say? CPM numbers
for stars? Yeah, CPN numbers and things like that. Get that. So you have a privacy or operate through a trust. I recommend operating through a trust. And then get you a pseudo name and operate through that name. You can do your business. It's all about knowing how to do business through these entities. You're utilizing an entity already. You just don't know it. Everybody out there has a corporation already. They just don't know it.
Right.
They just don't know it,
So should I just take control of that entity and copyright it and I could do it that way, or should I just make a totally different alias?
I would do a whole different entity through a trust and operate through a trust. That's just my preference. Don't even use their social security numbers or nothing like that. People talking about taking control of it and all that stuff. Now you want to create an entire separate entity because it's all about, remember, this is business. I'm talking about business because I know I got people out there listening. I'm talking about business. How you handle your business. All business is conducted through an artificial entity in the public. Some type of artificial entity. So if you want to interact with the public from the private, you need to do that through a trust.
I actually have an EIN number, but it's from a proprietorship, and I'm pretty sure it's different from my social. I shouldn't be using. I should just incorporate and get an EIN from a corporation. Correct?
You can do that. Yeah, definitely do that, and you definitely want to get a trust, and you get a number for your trust out of Philadelphia. That's private. That's what they do. What's called foreign trust. They call them foreign. All right. Which is just saying privacy too. Private trust.
All right. All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Gotta go on to the plantation now. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother.
All right.
Okay. Peace. All right. Let's go to. We're gonna dip to the. Let's go over to Maryland real quick. 41 area code 7145. You're on High Frequency Radio.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, this Siege is from Facebook, man.
Hey, what's happening?
What's going on? I never got to call you and talk to you the other day. I was trying to get through the line, but it was jammed up. But I sent that. I read that book. Dissolve Your Debt, and I followed the steps that they had in there. I was just curious to know if that process really worked, the A4V process, because I sent the stuff off like maybe a week ago.
Wait a minute. What's the name of the book you read?
Dissolve Your Debt.
Dissolve Your Debt. I've never heard that book. Dissolve Your Debt. What does it talk about?
Basically, it's how you write the 45-degree angle across the presentment.
Okay.
And then you send it to the yeah.
Okay. Let me talk about A for V for a second. All right. A for V is legitimate. It's the enforcement that people are having trouble with. And that's why I talk about the building equity and things of that nature. Now you have to document everything properly and follow it all the way through to completion. All right. And what you ultimately want to do is you really want to get you an account through the DTC
and go completely private and do all this stuff in the private and just disappear. Because really the way that everybody is doing it is kind of like the in my opinion, a bootleg way of doing things, because there's not no real sophistication or anything involved in it, so large numbers of people can do it. But is it legitimate? Yes, it's legitimate because it's a banker's acceptance. That's what the 45-degree angle is all about. You are a private banker. There is no money. Your signature does constitute credit. They can't offset the account. Yeah, all that. But the entities that we are engaging with this are doing what's called commercia belli against you, which means commercial war, which they are really just in essence trying to keep people slaves. I mean, that's really what it is at the end of the day. I mean, because if they let you do this process, you're going to be free. And they have a vested interest in not allowing you to get free. So you have to fight for your rights. You got to fight for your freedom. And that's going to require you to be educated enough to know where these people can't deceive you, that you have entitlement to remedy and you know what those remedies are, and that the court has to give you those things. So your question, does this work? I did a whole show devoted to does this work? As a matter of fact, in my archives, I got a show labeled Does It Work? And yes, it works, and no, it doesn't work. It depends on the individual. It depends on your level of knowledge and expertise. It depends on your fortitude, your perseverance. You know, it depends on, what it is. Are they going to fight you too? If it's a $2 million house, they're probably going to fight you tooth and nail for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about procedures. Everything is procedural now, and everything is in equity. So that necessitates there be some type of procedure to demonstrate good faith and clean hands. And that's what the administrative process is all about. And then you can probably petition these commercial courts, because they commercial courts, you're supposed to be able to go in a commercial court and get a remedy, So it's just all about doing the process privately and keeping it private. That's what's important.
That's what I'm trying to do now. I want to have a private trust because I wanted to open up a business, but I want, like, from here on out, I want everything to be under my trust. I don't want to use my social security number or anything like that no more. I just need, I'm new to this, so I'm just trying to figure out where do I start and how do I go from there? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Come to the class tomorrow. Doing a workshop tomorrow. 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Email me at highfrequencyblogtalk@gmail.com, and I'm going to do a webinar online, and we're going to do all this stuff. We'll go through all of it.
Okay. I'll do that, definitely.
All right?
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, peace.
All right.
Hey, Yusuf.
All right.
Yusuf.
Yeah, I'm here.
Am I still on?
Yeah, you still on?
Yeah. All right, just now, you said they're operating with commercial war.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
You said they're working with commercial warfare. Now, saying that they part of the Jesuits, you understand, or the Jesuits were from. It was from that, rabbi, they in that same group. Now, I bring that up for this specific reason, to find out, to look at the backing of what type of warfare they're running on after. And you said earlier the maritime lean that they have. The maritime lean that they have, if you put those things together that I just said, they have a lean against the Goyim. You have to lean against the Goyim, so it's what we call the Jews, that are doing it. Now, I bring all that up to put it in perspective of what's going on, because I'm literally looking at this ecclesiastical position related to commerce, because if you look at how they operate, and you look at how the Catholics operate, they put all their belongings is related to to the church, or to the synagogue, or to their religion. You know what I'm saying? And then it may sound weird in the beginning, like it's some pious position, but it's really like, if I devote some of my personal property to I guess that ecclesiastical, which is a trust. Almost all of them are trust, if I'm not mistaken. If person that has access to it. I'm still the person that has the only person that put it up there. So if like me and you have a like we come from the same church and we have a little debate. Of, you know, you like, well, I want access to that thing. Well, I'm the only person that put it in. What you got? And that we'll have it. That's a conversation of status and standing. It's like, all right, we got the same status and standing, but with the contract, like I put my information and I put my property in this. You know, the church got it through me, so I'm the person that has the main or priority interest in it. So I think the ecclesiastical position needs to be incorporated in our commercial process. That's what I'm working with a little bit more.
Yes, it does.
I know that.
There, a lot of people use the religious trust on top of a lot of things that they're doing. You know, that's what Aurora Diaz. I don't know if you've been listening to my show that long. I know you've been listening. But way back, some months back in March and April, I did a show with Aurora Diaz, and that's what she does. And people would be wise to go back and listen to her show because she is a trust expert for real on these trusts. She knows us from the inside and out with those religious trusts.
And I link that because I'm trying to figure out the same thing you trying to figure out. How can we do group economics? Well, that's exactly how. Through the ecclesiastical position. That's what they've been doing. Yeah, that's what the Koreans are doing. That's the way. But it always because I'm dead. Go ahead.
You touched on something. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. I'm aware of all of that. I mean, when you said it, I mean, you said they got a lien on it. It's what it is in the Bible. They call them bond servants, and that's what we are. We're bond servants. That lien is a bond. It's a debt.
So I'm looking at that's the position. That's the direction, and I think if we learn how to perfect that, we'll solve a lot of issues. I think it already exists. What we need to do, we just need to be more cognizant of it, and we all need to come to that position. So we got to come that can agree that let us perfect it, and then everybody else will come after that.
Good. Hey y'all, that is it. I'm out of time. Thank you for listening to High Frequency Radio. As y'all heard earlier today, I will be on tomorrow and everything because, my co-host, he has to do some things. So I will be on tomorrow, same time. We can get to it again. We can get to it.
All right. Thank everybody that came to the broadcast this morning. I learned some things. I'm not sure about anybody else, but we'll definitely research this information that we've learned from these videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to High Frequency Radio. You all have a better tomorrow. Thank you. Take care.